everyone, and welcome back to Velvet Moments. Purple Heart. There are nights that shine because of the stage, because of the lights, the music, the precision of every movement. And then there are nights that stay with us for a completely different reason. Not because they were louder or bigger or more perfect, but because, somewhere in between all the noise, something quiet slipped through. Something soft. Something real. That night began like any other. The stadium was alive, vibrating with energy, filled with the kind of anticipation that only grows when thousands of hearts beat in sync. The music roared, the lights painted the stage in gold and violet, and every performance felt larger than life. It was the kind of moment where everything seemed carefully constructed, every second shaped to perfection. And yet, the most unforgettable part of the night wasn't planned at all. After an intense set, Jungkook stood under the lights, his chest rising and falling as he caught his breath. There was still electricity in the air, the echo of the music lingering like a heartbeat that hadn't quite settled. But in the middle of it all, something shifted. Just slightly. Almost imperceptibly. His gaze drifted upward. For a brief second, it was as if the world around him faded. The noise, the crowd, the overwhelming scale of it all. And then, in a voice so simple it almost felt fragile, he said, "Look, that's the moon." It wasn't loud. It wasn't meant to be a highlight. It was just a thought. A small, spontaneous moment of wonder that escaped him without hesitation. And maybe that's why it felt so powerful. Because in the middle of a massive concert where everything is designed to impress, Jungkook noticed something quiet. Something constant. The same moon that existed beyond the stage, beyond the lights, beyond everything. And instead of keeping that moment to himself, he shared it. Beside him, Jimin turned. There was a pause, not awkward, not forced, but natural. The kind of pause that only happens when two people understand each other without needing words. And then, with that familiar spark in his eyes, that gentle mischief he carries so effortlessly, he responded, "I have that too." And just like that, he lifted his shirt. The reaction was immediate. Laughter broke through the stadium like a wave. Not just from the audience but from the stage itself. Jungkook doubled over, laughing in a way that couldn't be contained. Pure, unfiltered, completely genuine. It wasn't the kind of laughter you perform. It was the kind that happens when you're caught off guard in the best possible way. The other members joined in, the crowd followed, and suddenly the atmosphere changed. Softened. What had been grand and electrifying just moments before became something warmer, something closer. The distance between stage and audience seemed to disappear, replaced by a shared feeling that couldn't quite be explained, but was instantly understood. And that's where the magic truly lived. Not in the joke itself but in everything surrounding it. The ease between them. The way Jungkook didn't hold back his laughter. The way Jimin responded without overthinking, trusting the moment completely. There was no hesitation, no awareness of cameras or expectations. Just two people existing exactly as they were, in a moment that belonged entirely to them, and somehow to everyone watching too. After the laughter settled, Jungkook turned back toward the audience. His expression had changed. It was softer now, calmer. The kind of expression that doesn't demand attention but quietly holds it anyway. He lifted his hand slightly, gesturing upward once more, as if inviting everyone to see what he saw. To look at the moon. And for a brief moment, something extraordinary happened. Thousands of people in a stadium filled with noise and light paused. They looked up. Not at the stage. Not at the performers. But at the same sky. The same quiet, distant glow hanging above them all. And in that pause the concert transformed. It wasn't just a performance anymore. It became a shared experience. Jungkook wasn't just an artist on a stage, he was someone inviting others into his perspective, into a fleeting moment of wonder that felt almost too simple to matter, and yet somehow meant everything. Because in that moment, everyone was connected by something incredibly small. And incredibly real. This is the kind of intimacy that can't be scripted. It doesn't come from choreography or rehearsed lines. It comes from familiarity, from years of understanding, of trust built in ways that don't need to be explained. Jungkook knew without thinking that Jimin would respond in his own way. And Jimin knew just as naturally that Jungkook would meet that moment with laughter. It's a rhythm between them. Quiet, effortless, and deeply rooted. And through that rhythm they created something that extended far beyond themselves. They created a feeling. Jungkook in that moment revealed something soft about himself. Beyond the powerful presence, beyond the charisma and control, there's a quiet kind of wonder he still holds on to. The way he noticed the moon, the way he wanted to share it. It spoke of someone who still sees beauty in the simplest things, even in the middle of something overwhelming. Jimin, on the other hand, brought balance. His response could have disrupted the moment, but it didn't. Instead, it grounded it. He turned something gentle into something human, something that could be laughed at, shared, and remembered. He didn't take away from the softness, he made it more real. And maybe that's why this moment stayed. Because it wasn't perfect. It wasn't polished. It was honest. In a world where so much is carefully constructed, moments like this feel rare. They remind us that behind the performances, behind the expectations, there are real emotions unfolding in real time. There are glances that mean something. Reactions that can't be rehearsed. Connections that don't need to be labeled to be understood. And somehow, those are the moments that leave the deepest impact. Long after the concert ends, after the lights fade, after the sound disappears into memory, what remains isn't always the biggest moment. Sometimes it's the quietest one. A simple sentence. A burst of laughter. A shared glance toward the sky. That night, under the glow of the stage lights and the quiet presence of the moon, Jungkook and Jimin didn't just perform. They paused. They laughed. They shared something small, and turned it into something unforgettable. And maybe that's the real magic of nights like this. Not the scale, not the spectacle, but the feeling they leave behind. A warmth that lingers. A closeness that feels almost impossible yet undeniably real. Because sometimes, the most meaningful connections aren't the ones that demand attention. But the ones that exist quietly, gently, in moments that almost slip by, yet somehow stay with us forever. So the next time you look up at the night sky and you see the moon glowing softly above you, maybe you'll remember this moment too. Not just as something that happened on a stage, but as something that reminded us all what it feels like to share a simple human connection. Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Velvet Moments for more stories that don't just tell you something, but make you feel something. See you in the next video. Purple Heart.